Hi friends, this is Mrs. Darwin from Towson Presbyterian Preschool, and I am going to read to you today a very cool book. Now, if you watched my video on Monday, I read to you Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And today, this book that I'm going to read you has something in common with that book. And it is called June 29th, 1999 by David Weissner. So, I hope you like it as much as I do. Here's one of the cover pages. You see little orange balloons up in the sky? That's a little preview of what's coming. Okay. The place is Hohokus, New Jersey. The year is 1999. On May 11, after months of careful research and planning, Holly Evans launches vegetable seedlings into the sky. You see that? On May 18, the young scientist reports on her experiment. Holly intends to study the effects of extraterrestrial conditions on vegetable growth and development. She expects the seedlings to stay aloft for several weeks before returning to Earth. Her classmates are speechless. Look at them. Some of them have their mouths open. What? She seems very well organized. Extraterrestrial, friends, means outside of the Earth. So not in the ground in her backyard, but up in the sky. Okay. The date is June 29. Shortly after sunrise, a member of the Billings, Montana Moose Lodge, hiking through the Rocky Mountains, makes a startling discovery. Robert Bernabe is in a daze when he returns to camp. All he can say for several hours is, "Turnips." All over the country, the skies fill with vegetables. Look at those Brussels sprouts. Woo! Cucumbers circle Kalamazoo. Lima beans loom over Levittown. Artichokes advance on Anchorage. And parsnips pass by Providence. There's the parsnips. And broccoli lands with a big bounce in Holly Evans's backyard. In Autumna, Iowa, Tony Kramer emerges from his barn and shouts for joy. "At last, the blue ribbon at the state fair is mine." That's cabbage, right? What kind of animal likes cabbage? You can see them running. By mid-afternoon, all vegetables float safely to the ground. Those look like green beans. Or no, pea pods. I think they're pea pods. All except for the peppers. For some reason, they need a little help. Can you see people on the ground there with ropes? They're having to pull them down. That's because they're very gassy. TV news channels broadcast 24-hour coverage of the airborne vegetal event. Cauliflower carpets California, spinach blankets Greenwich, and arugula covers Ashtabula. Holly is puzzled. Arugula was not part of her experiment. Vegetables become very big business. Peas from Peoria are shipped down the Mississippi to Mobile in exchange for eggplant. Real estate booms in North Carolina. They're using pumpkins for houses. And avocados bolster Vermont's economy. Maybe they're using the pit as wood. Potato land is wisely abandoned. And the Big Apple is renamed the Big Rutabaga. Friends, real quick, when you cut up a potato, do you know what happens? If you don't cook it, it starts to get black and green and smelly. That's why you can't start carving with it like you would a statue. It'll just rot and be real stinky. Arugula, eggplant, avocado, and now rutabaga. As the list of vegetables that Holly did not plant grows longer, she concludes that the giant specimens are not the results of her experiment. More curious than disappointed, Holly asks herself, what happened to my vegetables? And whose broccoli is in my backyard? Look what they did with the broccoli. Can you guys see that? They basically made a tree house out of it. And my friends know that broccoli looks a little bit like a small tree when we dip it in our ranch dressing. The place is the ionosphere. On June 29th, the Arcturian star cruiser Alula Borealis was touring its 6th planet in 4 days, and the captain had just pointed out the fjords of Norway off of the port side. In the galley kitchen, an assistant fry cook accidentally sent the entire food supply out the door of the spaceship. As their vegetables drifted towards the small planet below, everyone on board had the same thought. Where would their supper come from? Oh, no, that would be a problem. Let's see. Where do you think they might get some food? Do you see little orange balloons and vegetables growing in the ionosphere? I bet they can take those. That's the funny ending, you guys. Holly's experiment will never come back. The vegetables that came back weren't hers, and the aliens in the alien spaceship are going to get all of her vegetables, so they're not going to go hungry, luckily. All right, well, that story inspired me. I don't know how many of you have gardens at home or just a window where you put some plants, but I do have 2 vegetable raised beds out in the back, and I haven't been out yet to get my seedlings. Now, seedlings are when you plant a seed and a little plant has grown. It hasn't grown to where it's, you know, the full size, because if you've seen a cucumber plant, it's huge. It's basically like a vine. A tomato, the same thing. It grows really big and produces a lot of food. But when it's maybe this big, it would be a seedling. So what I did, since I'm not going out to shop right now, I'm trying to stay home, I had some things in my shed. I had these little cups here that are meant for planting and some dirt, and I have some seeds. Let's see. I have parsley seeds. Parsley's not a vegetable, but it's an herb, and it tastes really good in some of your food. I have tomato seeds. And friends, I love tomatoes. These are not vegetables either. They're actually considered fruit. And that's why they're a little bit sweet. But you're probably used to them maybe on your spaghetti or in ketchup. And I hope you know what those are. Cucumbers. So cucumbers, if they do well, give you a lot of cucumbers. And I'm hoping that when these things grow, I can share some of them with my neighbors. But I just wanted to show you that I have started some, and maybe in a future video, I will have seedlings and I can show you my progress. I'm going to put them in the sunny window, and I'm going to water them frequently, make sure that they stay wet. Seeds actually need a little bit of water every day until they become a plant. And then you don't want to drown them. If you keep watering them too much, you can actually hurt the plant. But right now, they need to stay moist or they won't turn into a plant. So I'll do that, and I'll get back to you on that, okay? All right, one more thing. Holly Holly from Hohokus, New Jersey, taught me a word. I actually probably learned it a long time ago, but I haven't taken a science class in a while. So I was pretty excited to learn about the ionosphere. So I wanted to show you something. The ionosphere is between our atmosphere and outer space. Now, our atmosphere is what's around the Earth, where you see the blue sky and you see the clouds. That is where our oxygen is, like the air that you breathe, okay? But if you went far out into space like an astronaut, you can't breathe out in outer space. There's not oxygen out there. So our atmosphere is really important to all living creatures on Earth. So I'm going to show you a little demonstration. Okay. This is actually a Frisbee. It's a really fun one because it's got padding and it doesn't hurt your hands. Or if you don't catch it and it hits your head or something, it doesn't really hurt. So we use that in my backyard because I'm not that good at the standard plastic Frisbee. Let's just pretend that right here is the Earth, okay? It's nice and blue. If I had some green on there too, that would be cool. And let's pretend that this right here is a layer of clouds. And there's blue air and oxygen all in here around Earth, and lots of clouds and prettiness. This is our atmosphere. Around that layer, this blue rim right here, that's the ionosphere. And if you go even farther out here where my hand is, that's deeper space. There's no oxygen. There's not in the ionosphere either, but you are in, like, you know, you're even farther from the Earth. The reason why this layer is important is because it has energy, and radio waves go through it and talk to our satellites, which then send us information down on Earth. Now, what is a satellite? Satellite is something that we put, as Americans, but also other countries, put things up in the air, up in the ionosphere, or even farther, up in space. And some of them are a little closer to Earth, some are far from Earth, some are sort of in a medium level, but they all do different jobs. Oh, that's the wrong picture. Here, this one. Here's one, and you can see puffy clouds. This is a satellite that would have been probably closer to Earth. Okay? They help us get, they help us learn about weather, learn about what's happening to the Earth. It takes pictures of the Earth. It also can take pictures of space. And they can actually, satellite phones can use, we can make phone calls with satellites. Your GPS, it tells your mom or dad how to use Google Maps and get somewhere. That's from satellites. It's really very interesting. So here's another cool picture. You can see that satellites can look like different things, and they're probably built differently if they're going to be close to Earth, a little bit farther, or even farther from Earth in their rotation. They go around the Earth, and they have different jobs. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about the ionosphere, there's charged particles in this ring, basically this ring, right? A ring around Earth. And those charged particles can get the energy from the sun, and sometimes, I guess, sort of explode or release their energy. And when they release their energy, sort of like a firework, they make some really pretty lights in the sky. And we can call those northern lights, or the aurora borealis, which is why that spaceship, I think, was called something borealis, Alula borealis, which was funny. So look at those beautiful colors. My friends who love rainbows, you would love to see these. Where can you see them? You have to be near one of the poles. And when I say poles, I mean like North Pole or South Pole. So up in Alaska or over in Iceland in the winter, you can see, if you're lucky, if the if the weather is clear here on Earth, you can see these really beautiful lights come out. So people have taken pictures, and you can look at Google Images if you want on your computer. Your mom or dad can help you, and you can see so many pictures. So I just wanted to say there's one more thing. My friends who do science class with us, with Mrs. Talman at Towson Presbyterian, know this song. And I wanted to sing it with you, and I'm hoping that you'll sing with me. Okay, and with the hand gestures. This is sign language, right? So we're gonna use a little sign language. I'm losing my voice, of course, but I'm gonna go ahead and sing it with you. You ready? The more we wonder, we wonder, we wonder. The more we wonder, the more that we learn. You guys are so good at that and so good at learning. I hope this made you a little curious. Maybe you'll learn more. Maybe you want to grow something in your garden, or maybe you want to learn a bit more about space. I would love that. If you want to tell me anything about it, you can definitely do that, or tell Mrs. Fortich, our director, and let her know, okay, what you've been studying. I would love to hear from you. All right, hope you have a good weekend. Today is a Thursday, so I'll see you again next week. I'll talk to you next week. Take care.